Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can create a key tag similar to this one using Fusion 360, which is a program made by Autodesk. Fusion 360 is CAD software. There's a number of different CAD software tools available. Fusion 360 is a pretty comprehensive one, which is why I'm going to focus on that. Now, before you can start with Fusion 360, you need to download it and create an account. So using the file that I've sent to you, you can click on that link there, and that will take you to the online platform where you can then download Fusion 360. I'm already logged in as myself, so I can't show you the downloading process, but you can create a free account as a student, and you'll be able to access that software for free. Otherwise, it's quite expensive. Now, if you have any trouble with Fusion, sometimes people have trouble downloading it. Another tool that Autodesk make is called Tinkercad. And Tinkercad is all online, so you don't actually have to download anything. So sometimes it can be easier to work with. Now, if I show you really quickly Tinkercad, you can see here I've signed in, and this is my account. Okay, so you need to create an account first, and you just do that at tinkercad.com. Okay, and then you can see here I've got some 3D design stuff that I can access there. I've also got some circuits and some other things there, but what I want to access is the tutorials. So if you've never used Tinkercad before, or you've never used any 3D design software, Tinkercad's probably an easy place to start. And you can start by browsing all the tutorials, and you can go through one by one, or there's projects that you can select to design something yourself and then 3D print it later on. But as I said, we're going to focus mainly on Fusion today. So once you've downloaded Fusion and you've logged in using your new student account, which is free, make sure you don't pay for it. It's a free program for education. Once you've done that, you can open it up, and I'm just going to follow the instructions on that document that I've given to you digitally. So once you've opened up a new Fusion file, you can click on up here. We've got our cube that gives us our orientation. Now, most of the time in Fusion, we start with a two-dimensional image, and then we turn it into a three-dimensional object. Okay, so we need to select the plane in which we're going to work. So I'm going to click on top. So basically that means that whatever I design now, I'm looking at it from the top down. Okay, so if you imagine if we're 3D printing, what we see here, this plane here, is the 3D printing bed, and we're going to lay our objects on top of that. Okay, so what we're going to do now that we've selected the top plane, I'm going to click on create a sketch. Okay, so creating a sketch is a two-dimensional sketch, and then we turn that into a three-dimensional object later on. So we're going to select create there, and then I'm going to select the plane in which we're working. So I'm going to click on that square there, which just is telling the program that that's the plane that we wish to create with. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our key tag. So if I click on a circle diameter there, and I'm just going to place it in the middle of the plane there, and I'm going to drag it out. Now you can select, like you can drag it out and choose your diameter that way, or you can just type in the diameter. Okay, so I've just typed in 30, press enter, and now I have my circle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to turn this into a 3D object. So I'm just going to finish the sketch. So I'm going to stop working 2 dimensions. Now I'm going to work in 3 dimensions. Now, in order to do that, I can't see 3 dimensions when I'm just looking from the top. If I go back over to my orientation cube over in the top right hand corner, and there's a little home button, I'm going to click on that home button, and that's going to bring me back to like a 3D view, a 3-dimensional view. So I'm in that space now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the circle. So I've just selected that face, or the shape that we've made, and then I'm going to choose the extrude option, which is right next to the create sketch option. So extrude basically means I'm gonna make it into a cylinder. I'm gonna turn this circle into a cylinder, and I can click on that arrow and I can choose how high or how deep I want my cylinder to be, or again, I can just type in the measurement. So for this key tag, we just want it to be 3 mm. So I've just typed in 3, and now I've got my disc. Okay, and my disc is now 3-dimensional. At this point, it's worth noting down the bottom here, we have what we call the timeline. And the timeline allows us to see each step in our CAD creation. So I can click back to different stages to make edits if I need to. Yeah, and then I can sort of click forward to that point in time as well. So if I drag that cursor back there, I don't have a shape yet, okay? Obviously, I haven't done many steps yet, but once we have a few steps along there, that can be a handy tool to use. Now, what I want to do is I want to now create my initials on the top of my design. So I'm going to go back to top view, okay, and I'm going to create a sketch, and then I'm going to select the circle as the face for my sketch. Okay, so I'm going to put something on that face of what we now have as a cylinder. If I click on create, there's some different options there. The option that we want is text. And then now I'm going to create like a text box in Word, where I'm then just going to type in my initials. Okay, there are some options that you can change around there, but I don't really need any of that. I can then move that around. Okay, so I can put it up the top or down the bottom, or sort of just leave it around about the center. Okay, and now I want to finish that sketch. So I've finished that part. And what I want to do now is I want to extrude it like I did before with the disc. So I'm going to go back to my home view. So we use the orientation cube. Go back to the home view so I can see it as a 3-dimensional object. This makes extruding a lot easier. In 2 dimensions, it's very hard to extrude because we can't get the depth or the height very well. So I'm going to select the initials as the object that I want to extrude. And then I'm going to click on extrude. Now I've got 2 options. I can drag the arrow up or down to create my extrusion, or I can just enter the height. So I might say I want 2 mm above, or I can even put in -2, and that will embed the initials into the disk rather than having it on top of. But I want to make it on top of this time. So I'm going to choose 2, and then I just press enter. You can see now I've got more stages in my timeline. So again, I can go back different stages if I want to, and that can be helpful at times. So now I've got my disk and I've got my initials on it. Now what I would like to do is I'd like to put a hole to put a key ring through. There's a couple of ways we can do that. There is a hole option here, but I'm going to show you a different way. So I'm going to go back to a top view and I'm going to create a new sketch. I'm going to make a circle. Sorry, I need to choose the face. So I choose that face there. And now I'm going to create my sketch. So I want a circle. I'm going to put it up the top there. I'm going to give it a width or a diameter of 3 mm. I'm going to press enter there. Okay, I'm going to finish the sketch. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my home view. And I'm going to click on that face of the circle that I've just created. I'm going to extrude that. And I'm going to make that -3, whoops, not -34, -3 mil, so that it goes all the way through the disk. If I press enter now I can use my orientation cube now to have a look at my object from different angles. So I can drag that around to see it from different angles. We can see that there is a circle in there, okay, which is what we were looking for. So that's obviously where the keyring is going to go through. Okay, now there's a whole heap of other tools and tricks that we can use with Fusion 360, but we're going to leave it there for now, and I'm going to show you the next step, which is to export your file. So what we do is we go up to File, and we're going to choose the option Export. Now, what we need, we'll give it a name, so I'll call that JD Keytag. And I don't want an Autodesk Fusion file because, as I said, there's a number of different CAD software that we can use. Okay, so we don't want an Autodesk Fusion file. We want what's called an STL file. Okay, an STL file is a common file type to create 3D prints. So I'm going to choose STL, and then I'm going to choose a point where this will save. So you can choose that option down here. You can put that wherever you like. Okay, so I might put that in my 10stem folder, and I'm going to save that. Then once you've done that, I'll give you a USB stick to save that file onto, and then I can 3D print that for you at school. So once you've done that and you've saved that, you can create a new design. You can go into that Fusion icon again and create a new file. Play around. You can make a whole range of different things. Have a bit of a play around with that. If you get stuck, as I said, go back and you can use Tinkercad, which is probably an easier starting point. It's easy to use, but there's probably less that you can do with Tinkercad. So there's a whole range of different things that you can make on Fusion 360 or Tinkercad. You could make a phone holder, a whole range of different things. Search online if you're short of ideas, but otherwise have fun, and if it's something that's worth printing, I can print it when we're back at school. Great, thanks for watching.